I'm Shauna Sue, and it's time for 10-Minute Technique Tuesday. So today on 10-Minute Technique Tuesday, I want to dig right in. This is going to be a quick lesson, but I want to talk about water and some of the mistakes, not mistakes, Bob wouldn't say mistakes, Bob would say happy accidents, but some of the things that I see people do when it comes to painting water. So without further ado, let's talk about water. Let's dig right in. So here we are today. We're going to talk about water, and I have my canvas split in half. I'm going to show you two different things. So let's imagine this half of the canvas, we're going to have a big body of open water with maybe, think about an ocean or a big lake, a great big pond, a big open body of water over here. And on this side, we're going to talk about maybe a stream. A smaller something flowing that maybe starts here at the horizon line, disappears off into the horizon, and comes down this direction. So, pardon me while I paint the sky. We'll get right through that. Okay, so I have my sky painted. Let's go ahead and imagine this is our horizon line. And again, on this side, we're going to paint an open body of water. So the most important thing you can remember when you're painting water, it has to stay side to side. It has to stay parallel. All your brush strokes have to stay parallel to the bottom. So as I paint this water, I'm going to start at my horizon line, and I'm going to imagine we're maybe in the Caribbean, someplace warm. So with my brush, I have a little white on it. I'm going to take a little bit of blue, maybe even a little bit of green, someplace very tropical. And all of my brush strokes here are going to stay side to side. Oh, look at that beautiful green. And that blue, look at how they're blending into a nice turquoise, side to side. I'm going to load up with some more paint, some blue, some green, a little bit of white. I have a whole hot mess happening on that brush. But I'm going to use that paint side to side. I'll even catch myself when I'm doing this. I'm not necessarily even moving my arm. I'm kind of moving my body. I'm just kind of rocking back and forth, side to side. It's kind of fun as you do this to, what if instead of using my brush flat ways like this, what if I turn it and I use it skinny ways? I can do that. I'm still going side to side though. One of the things I see people do, again, not mistakes, but it changes the whole look if you start to go downhill. I see people do this and it starts to look like there's a wave or there's something weird happening there in your water. There's something under your water. So I'm going to go back and fix that and go side to side, parallel to your horizon, parallel to the bottom of your canvas, side to side. There we go. So as I finish that out, look at that. Look at that beautiful water. Side to side. That's gorgeous. I also like sometimes to keep it nice and dark at the horizon and then maybe add in little bits of white as I get closer to the bottom, because that's closer to me. The closer we get to the bottom of the canvas, the closer it is to the viewer. So I'm going to shush in some more white down here. That's really all there is to painting a big open body of water. You have to stay side to side. Okay? Let me show you a few fun little tricks that you can do. You can take, it's my Filbert. I can't do a class without my Filbert. I can't do a technique video without him. I can take my Filbert with a little bit of white paint, just a tiny bit on the end, and I'm going to use him skinny ways. And what if every now and then I really lightly just shush little bits of white in there? It's almost like kind of a crest of a wave or something moving there in the water. But really, really lightly, just barely touch. It's very subtle, but that adds something a little more interesting. Something else I could do, if you have a fan brush, this is one of my softer fan brushes. I have a lot of different fan brushes, but this one's a little softer. What if I take the littlest bit of white paint on the end of that fan brush and I give a little, I'm going to do like a little curl, just a tiny little C, really tiny, and then drag it out. Look at that. Looks like there's a little wave, a little whoosh that happened up there in the water. Let me do that again. Again, on my fan brush, the tiniest little bit of white, it's a tiny little letter C, and then I'm pulling out to the side. So there we go. That's what a large body of water might look like. I feel pretty good about that. Let's hop over to the other side and let me show you what a river might look like. So pardon me while I paint the sky. So now I have the sky painted. Let's imagine we had big body of water over here. Let's imagine on this side that we're going to have a river that kind of flows down and through. Now remember, it's going to disappear at the horizon line. This is my horizon. And it's going to get bigger as it comes down to the bottom because it's closer to the viewer. So I just have a little bit of sky color on my brush. That's okay because my river's going to be pretty blue. So with that brush, you can use a smaller brush if you want, but I'm just going to use that big brush and I'm going to use it skinny ways. So now I can imagine my river's going to disappear up here. And then it's going to meander a little bit, and it's going to come back around this way, back down to the bottom. Now, do you see all of my brush strokes here are side to side, parallel to the bottom for the most part. I got a little crazy, but parallel to the bottom. So I'm going to take some more blue. I'm pulling side to side. Side to side. This is so important. I see people when they paint rivers, they want to follow this line of their river with their brush, and that's not how it works. You have to try to stay parallel to the bottom. Now I'm going to give that a minute to dry. While I'm letting that dry for a second, I'm going to go in and put some grass on either sides. So pardon me while I do that. So here we go. I got my grass in there. It's very messy. I could spend more time on it. That's for another lesson. Today I really want to focus on the water though. So again, just like the large body of water over here, all my brush strokes are side to side. On my river side, they're all parallel to the bottom. Now I'm back to my filbert again. I love this brush. I can take a little bit of white with it, just a tiny bit of white on the end. That's too much. There we go, tiny bit of white. And I can use it skinny ways. And it's going to be darker at the horizon. And it's going to get lighter as it comes down to the bottom. So I'm going to start down here. And very lightly, I can shush side to side some white in there. Now my water is still kind of wet, which is nice because if something happens that I don't like, if I get I'll see people do a big white burp right there. This is still wet, so if that big burp happens, I can go back in, soften it a little. If things get too crazy, I can add a little bit of blue back in. But again, I'm just side to side, putting little glints of light across there. Oh, things got a little crazy there. That's okay. I can soften it. But everything I do here stays parallel to the bottom. Again, darker at the horizon, lighter as we head down this way. I'm using that filbert, skinny ways, and I'm just shushing white across there. So there we go. I could spend a lot more time on this. I could get my fan brush and play and get some fun little ripples of water in there. But again, everything has to stay side to side, parallel to the bottom. So there we go. That was pretty quick. That was pretty down and dirty, but I wanted to show you the most important thing about water. Side to side. So think about how the water makes you feel when you paint it. Side to side, very smooth. Don't start running up and down because things get weird. Side to side. So I will see you next week on 10-Minute Technique Tuesday. And I think maybe we'll use this canvas behind me. Maybe we'll use it to talk about clouds. Who knows? We'll see. Tune in next Tuesday for 10-Minute Technique Tuesday. Bye-bye.